Greetings, guys. It's another episode of Let's Talk Latinite. And with that, I answer any questions based on these three, or really anything about the channel, etc. But nobody wants to talk about me. I'm boring. These guys are exciting. So, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to read from bottom to up this time with comments. Here it is. What was Big Yellow Buddy's thoughts of if he saw on Pokemon when Iris thought Ash's Charizard was a Dragon type? Well, he didn't watch that. I did. I watched that one. And actually, it's funny. Ever since Iris caught a Dragonite, I literally was hooked on Pokemon anime just to see Dragonite. That's it. I quit watching Pokemon anime and then resumed watching just for that reason. And when I first saw that Dragonite, and then when I compared him to Big Yellow Buddy, I was like, well, that's the complete opposite. Because this Dragonite just wants to kill everything, or did. It was what I don't know. Dragonite's supposed to be like, I don't know. Have you seen like the standard picture, like the one everyone uses, where he's just sitting there happy with a wave like that? He's supposed to be strong and kind at the same time. This one's just aggressive and mean, and just just him having like an angry look all the time. I know it's probably he's supposed to look like Latios, where his eyes look slanted like he's angry, but he's really not. But I don't know. I think he really is angry all the time. And then later on, when I met Claire's Dragonite, I'm getting off topic, but sure. And then when you compared like Claire's Dragonite to it, like Claire's Dragonite, even though it's female, is all like happy and whatnot, and until it saw the other Dragonite, then wanted to tussle with it. But I don't know. Not all. I don't know. Is that like the difference between male Dragonite and female Dragonite? Really, a male Dragonite have the angry face while female Dragonite have a happy face? Nah, I don't think so. Because I haven't seen that in any of the games. That would be a stereotype. It really would. But Big Yellow Buddy ain't like that. If you wanna compare what the average Dragonite is, I would have to say it's a cross between Big Yellow Buddy and Iris's. No joke. Because no Dragonite should be as goofy and silly as mine, but it shouldn't be as aggressive and ass-kicking-ish as Iris's. It should be right in the middle. Gentle, warm-hearted, yet mighty. That's the Dragonite. But on the right topic this time, what did I think about it? About when Iris thought about, it's like, oh, Charizard isn't a Dragon type? I thought it was. And then as soon as I saw that, oh. But no. But, alright. You guys are going to hate me for this, but I've been thinking about this question a little while, and I've come up with something that it may piss people off, including myself. This episode in Japan was written around the same exact time they were working on X and Y. I think what Iris said was a hint as to what they were going to do with Charizard. Makes sense. It was around the same exact time. Wow. Really, people? I honestly think that was a hint. It was a subliminal message saying, oh, it's not a dragon type? Maybe we should change that. So, whatever. I can't talk about Charizard anymore without feeling pissed off. So, I try not to think about him entirely. And it just proves my point that classic Charizard is crumbled to dust. But Big Yellow Buddy shall live on. Next question. Would the Latias and Dragonite join Team Rocket as grunts if they saw a guy with a sign saying free cookies to join Team Rocket? Come on. Well, Dragonite, maybe. But the Latias, they're supposed to be highly intelligent. If they were to see a Team Rocket grunt for any reason, they would not go anywhere near him, even if it said free Soldew. Actually, no, they wouldn't fall for that either. But they're smarter than me. They're smarter than any human being. So, you can't trick them easy. Dragonite, well, he's as smart as any human. Have you read his information? And I think he knows better than to take cookies from strangers. If anything, it'd be the opposite. The Dragonite would put a sign saying free hugs. Would you hug him? That's a question for you. Here we go. Who do you like more, Latios or Latias? And you can't use me as an answer. Har, har, har. Really? Why do people have to make me choose? I don't like to. Haven't anybody heard my argument where they're better together, not separate? That's what their species is. They're supposed to be together. So I have to choose. Okay. Alright. Well, alright. I have my answer, and it's a good reason. I'm going to have to pick this one. Why her? Well, keep in mind that she was the first one of the two that I bumped into in my Emerald game. If I didn't bump into her, I wouldn't have became a fan of him. So I'm going to have to show she has a little bit more of importance than her brother. I love him equally, but if I had to choose, it would be her. But if I didn't bump into her, I wouldn't be a fan of any of them. And Dragonite, so Dragonite should be thanking her. I mean, you could be replaced by Zapdos. Does anyone really think about the legendary birds anymore? I swear they're just as dead as Charizard. But not for me. I'll still love them. I'm gonna grab my mouse instead of my phone. Alright, moving on. Alright, if you could, would you want to meet the Latias and Dragonite in real life? Well, they're as real as you want them to be. Does imaginary friends count by any chance? Because a while ago, many years ago, how many years ago, I did have them as imaginary friends when I was growing up. It was tough times in school, and that's, what would happen was like, the Latias would show up and try to show me the right way in life and whatnot. It was weird. It was like a cross between like a conscience and a vision. It was weird. Here I am talking about personal things I probably shouldn't, but yeah, it was weird. But one thing I do have to say is because of that whole spiritual / imaginary friend thing, that's how I developed the strong personalities in my Pokemon and I book that I made. I developed the personalities off of them. So, I mean, how the other ones I made up on my own, like Moltres and like Salamence and Mew, but with the Latias and Dragonite, I strictly got their personalities and their voice and how they behave and etc. all from either the Pokemon Heroes movie or the friends that I had back then. Crazy. I guess I really don't think about it too much unless I actually get asked that question. But yeah, they're pretty much as real as you want to make them. That's what fan fiction's for. The whole entire channel's a fan fiction, pretty much. They can do whatever they want. So pretty much, well, they are real. They're all real in our hearts. That's what matters the most. They're still real to me. And 5 questions, okay. I said 3, but alright, I'll let it slide. Alright. How many things can you relate to Latios, Latias, and Dragonite? Alright, we're gonna be here like for 6 hours. With my room, my games, my life. Maybe that sums it up. I don't know, I mean, there's not one moment where I don't think about them. I mean, it's really hard considering my room has stuff filled with them. But, I don't know. I don't know. I don't... Pretty much, yeah, my rooms, my games, and my life. That's the main 3 you need to know. I don't need to go in more detail than that. Alright, just, have you ever had a dream about Latios, Latias, and Dragonite? I think you can answer that question. Any recent dreams? No, I haven't. I haven't really had any recent dreams. The main dreams that I did have, though, was when I was in the middle of writing my Pokemon and I Would Live in the Crisis. I've had daydreams or dreams about what to write in that book, and it's like a movie playing in your head, and it wouldn't stop until I wrote this down in my notebooks here. This three wide rule notebooks filled 200 pages, and I put all that on my computer. And I still have thoughts about an upcoming series. I already did the first episode of Ultimate Adventures, and I still haven't made the second one yet, but I would like to work on it maybe when I have more ambition. But for now, I don't. Once this whole Mega Lati thing clears out of my head, it will take a while, but once it does, I'll get back into writing. But people have been pissing me off lately with that, so that's why I've been trying not to think about Pokemon at all. So I haven't been doing the fanfiction, so sorry. Do you have a favorite moment for each of them? Is the next question. Favorite moment, huh? I have a lot of favorite moments, but what's like the most important one? Well, one of them is when in Battle Revolution, the hardest setting on one of the Colosseums is I decided to use my Dragon team. I don't know if you noticed, it was the Latias, Dragonite, Salamence, Flygon, and Charizard in that competition, and rank 8 in that game is ridiculously hard. There's not one trainer that doesn't have 3 legendary Pokemon with them. And to not get your ass completely handed to you is very, very hard. And on the boss, which is technically rank 9, I think we were facing like Dialga, Palkia, and whatnot, and the Latias did end up taking care of them without they fainted in the process, though. It literally came down to Dragonite and Arcanine, and Dragonite literally won with 2 health left. And I actually won the badge for that. That was probably one of the best Big L Bunny moments. I mean, I don't play that game anymore just because I feel that, I don't know. I guess, don't force the Latias to battle, but I guess at the time I really didn't think of that. I don't know. Because it is kind of silly if you think about it. Why put a Pokemon in the game if they're pacifists? It's kind of a double standard, I guess. But that's only because the game is all about battling. Is there any game that really isn't? Besides maybe Pokemon Ranger or something. I mean, even the Mystery Dungeon series had battling in it, but it was more exploration than battling. So the Latias did approve of that. Oh, speaking of Mystery Dungeon, though, my favorite Lati moments was Nintendo Addict should know about this because I recently watched a playthrough on him doing this. It was one mission where the Latias, or you have to save Latias from a dungeon or whatever, and then you reunite them together, and they literally show a cutscene of them 2 dancing around each other. It was so damn cute. I love that. And then next thing you know, they say, "Can we join your team?" Yes. That was an awesome moment. There's plenty more where that came from, but those are the main ones. I mean, I could probably name a few in my fanfiction, but I don't want to talk about that too much, just because A, I don't want to give spoilers to anyone that hasn't seen it, and B, I don't want to sound like a cocky bastard because I wrote a book. A lot of people write books. What do you think about their shiny forms? That's a good question. Alright. Well, first, let's talk about the shiny Latias first. The shiny Latias, it's very interesting because their color scheme is the same exact concept as them. With Latias is gold. Like, I don't know, it depends on the game. It's either yellow or gold. We'll just call it gold. Latios, unfortunately, is only teal. He only gets a lighter shade of his blue. However, his eye color changes to orange, I think? I'm not sure. I think I don't know, I think that his eye color changes. And then Latias, I forget what her eye color is. But the triangles on their bellies, it still represents each other, but in their shiny one. So therefore, Latios' triangle is gold, while Latias is teal. That's pretty cool. I like that. But, I don't know. I don't really like the shiny colors of them too much. Latios, I can see why, because I like darker blue better than teal. And then Latias, I don't know. I compare her, like, looking, it's like, she looks a little bit like Dragonite now, except she's lighter yellow. But I don't know, I don't really like the gold and the gold and the white. I mean, it's cool, but I don't know. I still like the primary colors, blue, yellow, red. That's the reason. I don't know, I love the fact that the dragons that I have on the channel are primary colors. I mean, that was a coincidence. And most of you are saying, Dragonite is orange, he's a light orange, golden yellow, it's still yellow. And moving on to Big Yellow Buddy. Here's what I think about the shiny version of Dragonite. Big Green Buddy doesn't have the same ring to it. It just doesn't. You can say Big Green Buddy a million times, it just... Nope. And if you want to abbreviate it, BYB or BGB? No. Big Green Buddy just doesn't have it. I do like the darkish purplish wings, though. And I noticed that the belly color doesn't change. It still stays that creamy colored, and the antennas, too. So that's one thing that doesn't change between the two, kind of like the Latias and their white colors. I like how there's like some similarity between the two. But yeah, I do like the concept of... I mean, not concept. I mean, it is interesting to see like a green Dragonite, but I don't know. How many green dragons are there? A lot? In RuneScape, there's a crap ton. There's green... I don't know. How many yellow dragons are there? Besides Latias' shiny form, I think Dragonite's the only golden yellow dragon in the entire game, isn't he? I think so. So that's unique. I like Big Yellow Buddy. And that name just sticks. You can't change it, even if you were... So yeah, the shiny forms, I'm not a big fan. That's probably one of the reasons why I did not get the shiny cards, because there's actually cards of the Latias in their shiny forms. For two reasons. One, I really just don't have an interest in the shiny Latias, and two, they can go as much as $70 a card. Why? Probably because they're one of the rarest cards at the time, and they don't make them anymore. And yeah, I don't have $140. I already blew $55 on these three. That's better. I'd rather have really soft plush toys instead of two cards, because I have a bunch of cards, as you can tell. Was that the last question? I think it was. Oh no, there's two more. What would you say if Latios disguised as a girl and Latias disguised as a boy? Alright, I have to mention this, my story. In my story, and MW Thorn, you asked this question, you should know. Remember that Latia, in one of the scenes, Latias turned into Mike? Just to fool around with him? That's what I think about it. I would say, I mean, it would make more sense for the Latias to to disguise themselves as the appropriate genders. But, I don't know. At the time, I guess, well, I don't know, I guess what I was thinking was Latias likes to disguise herself as someone who she thinks is her best friend. So she went over to Mike because Mike saved her that a couple of times, and that's why she turned into him, just to fool around or whatever and be playful. So that's what I think about that. Latios, I don't see him turning into a girl. In fact, Latios doesn't really disguise himself much at all. He hasn't in the movie. It is mentioned that he can alter his appearance, but it is never seen. I kind of wish they utilized that in the game. They never once utilized the disguise feature in any Pokemon game. Their invisibility, too. They've hardly ever used that. In fact, there's only one instance in the entire stack of games they were in that invisibility was used. And that is, what is it? Mystery Dungeon Explores of Time, or, yeah, actually Explores of Time, Darkness, or Sky. Those games. It's technically the same game, just different versions. But what it is that Latias has Heart Brooch item that if she's holding it, or if it's in your bag, I think, and if she gets attacked, there's like a 50% chance she turns invisible. Yes, invisibility was a thing in that game, and how other Pokemon used it was there was a invisibility seed or something you ate, and you can turn invisible for a limited time. But the fact that they gave Latias that ability because they knew she could turn invisible normally. Latios didn't have it. He had something called the Eon Veil, which I think upped his speed and attack or something if he was hit. I'm not sure. But all I do know is that invisibility was only used once in a game for the Latias, and that was it. Disguising, I don't even think they care. And if they did, they wouldn't have made the Mega Form of them. And can Dragonite be tickled? Never tried it. Ever. I know he likes his belly to be rubbed. He does have kind of thick scales, but he's a softie. He really is. You know why? 'Cause he's Big Yellow Buddy, that's why. Many of you are asking me, would you try to rub Iris's Dragonite's belly? Hell no. Wait, now that I think about it, has Iris ever come in physical contact with her Dragonite? As in, has she ever, like, patted him on the back, stroked his head, gave him a high five, anything? I don't even think she did. How can you show, like, love? Like, she shows super love and affection for Axew all the time, but for Dragonite, no? Every Pokemon deserves a hug once in a while. Unless it's like Grimer or Muk, then probably not. But even if it's a big dragon, he's a big old lug. So give him a hug. Just go. He gives pretty damn good hugs. But yeah, Dragonite likes his belly rubbed on occasion. That, and oddly enough, he actually likes his wings massaged as well. Which most dragons hate their wings being touched. Just don't do it. But Big Yellow Buddy's an exception to that rule. And I believe that is it. That is everything. So, wow, we talked a lot today. Now, 22 minutes later. The next topic, you can ask any questions below, but this is, I wrote it in the description as well. I want it to be questions based on this, because I've been dying to get my opinions out on this movie for a while. And now's the good time, since it's Decade of Dragons, to talk about that. Because I've been following a comment chain, some of you may know, on certain things that have it made me sick. It made me absolutely sick. But then there's other things I like to talk about that is just great. But yeah, the Pokemon Heroes movie would be a great, which unfortunately Dragonite, and we're not going to really talk about Dragonite much in that. So I guess we could talk about a movie he was in, but the only movie he was in, I think, was, besides the one with Iris's Dragonite that recently came out, like, last year, was the first movie when he was the Messenger Dragonite, which I'll just talk about that right now. Yeah, because we're going to focus on Pokemon Heroes movie for the next episode, I would like to, please. So any questions you have, please let it be Pokemon Heroes related. If you haven't watched the movie, I suggest watching it because it's, I don't know, every Lati fan should watch it at least once. I honestly think, don't criticize me, but I don't think you can call yourself a true fan if you haven't watched that movie. I mean, you don't have to own the movie, but you need to watch it at least once. So, to ask questions on that, or you know what, we'll do anime as well. That's not Iris's Dragonite, because I already talked about her Dragonite in full. So yeah, going back to that. One thing I didn't understand, though, in the first movie, is if you notice the Messenger Dragonite, its wings are twice the size as a normal Dragonite. Like, once it expands its wings, it's huge. Perfect example. Go on Silent Dragonite's G+ page, and he has that picture of the Messenger Dragonite. And they're huge. They're double the size of a Dragonite should be. I'm like, I don't know, was that the intention of how big a Dragonite's wings should be, and then they just shortened them or something? Or is it small when they're not flying and then that big when they are flying, which wouldn't make any sense because how come they double in size when they're flying? But yeah, I don't know. Even I've seen Iris's Dragonite, talking about her again, fly around, and his wings grew slightly, but not as big as that. So I don't know. I honestly maybe that was just an error or something on their part, because I don't know. Dragonite is supposed to have the tiniest stubby wings, and yet he. All right, get this. He has very stubby wings, small wings. He weighs almost 500 pounds, and he can fly faster than the speed of sound. Look at those little wings. Can I borrow those wings? I would like to fly faster than the speed of sound. But of course, all that bulkiness comes in handy because if he was ever in a raging storm or anything, he can just fly right through and just not be phased even by the wind. That's a true fact. Big yellow buddy. See, he's so interesting. I don't know why I didn't. I hate the fact that I didn't get into Dragonite sooner. I wish I was into him the first day he came out. But the reason why is because he was kind of ugly in the first game. In the first game, he was like, I think in green version, he was like brown with a stripe going down his back, and they made him look like he was a quadruped dragon instead of a manuped dragon. That being said, he walked on 4 legs instead of 2. And then they kind of upped it a little bit, and then he walks on 2 legs. That's probably another reason why I like that, is because he walks on 2 legs. I don't know, just he is kind of human shaped. A little bit. He is. Just a little bit. I mean, his arms aren't as big as mine, but he is human shaped, if you don't count the tail. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why we have so much in common. I can relate to him. And if I were to turn into a Pokemon, I would be a Dragonite. that question's out of the way. So, that is all. So that goes just as a reminder. Next questionnaire would be about Pokemon heroes. And while there's half an hour into this, I get wrapped up. When I say I can talk about this kind of topic for hours, I mean it. Even if it's just to a camera and it's not to somebody else. No, wait, it is technically to somebody else. It's to you guys. You know what I mean. Even if it's not to directly somebody else who's sitting beside me. I don't know, it is really, really fun. I mean, if I had the capabilities, I would do a live version of this, but there's 2 things. 1, I don't have the internet access for that. And 2, I don't have enough subscribers to check my channel to watch live events. And most of you guys live in different parts of the world, so that would be very hard. Even if I set a time, some of you will be sleeping while I'm doing it, and that wouldn't be fair, so that's why I like doing it this way. Anyway, I have to sign off before I talk for another half an hour. It was fun, but I still have the Winter Blunderland tour to do, and I still have Crash Bash to do. Nah, maybe I should talk this one. Nah, I gotta do it. Anyway, thank you for participating and watching me talk. I can't believe me talking is that interesting. But if you enjoy it, then that's what the channel's about. Enjoying entertainment to the fullest, no matter how weird. So, I'm signing out. And please ask those Pokemon and hero-related questions, or anime-related questions, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.